Hall of Shame. 5 true stories of cheating, flopping, and being run over by your own rescue crew. We're counting them down from embarrassing to criminal. Number 5. The team that bought everything except a single win. In the late 90s, Toyota, the biggest car maker on Earth, decided to conquer Formula 1. And they were so confident, they didn't ask if they'd win, only when. Before they had even entered a single race, they binned an entire engine and wrote off $11 million. Rival teams were so scared of Toyota's wallet, they changed the rules just to slow them down. That is how much money we are talking about. They built a racing fortress in Germany, 2 wind tunnels, 1,000 staff. It was so good that after Toyota gave up, Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams all queued up to rent it. Their rivals used Toyota's own building to win races. Toyota just couldn't. They had the best tools in the entire sport, and absolutely no idea how to use them. And every single time Toyota got good, they found a way to ruin it. In 2005, they built a genuinely brilliant car and grabbed a pile of podiums. So, obviously, they fired the genius who designed it, then forced a tire change that nobody wanted, which wrecked the car. Because everything had to be done the Toyota way, which mostly meant stop racing and go and have a meeting. They would literally pause rebuilding the car to phone head office in Japan. You cannot win a knife fight by scheduling a conference call. And then, in 2009, something incredible finally happened. Toyota built a rocket, one of the quickest cars on the whole grid, pole positions, podiums, the lot. They were minutes away from their first ever win. And then the pit crew, trying to be too clever, threw it straight in the bin. And then, they did it again. So, after 8 long years, Toyota were finally properly fast. And that is the exact moment they quit. The parent company lost money, panicked, and pulled the plug overnight. They binned next year's car and walked away. Winless. Forever. In Formula 1, you cannot simply buy a win. You have to actually be a racing team. Toyota were a spreadsheet with wheels. The biggest budget, the best factory, a stolen Ferrari, and one gigantic zero. So that's what happens when a giant corporation fails slowly. But one man managed to fail, spectacularly. Number 4. The unluckiest driver who ever lived. It is 1995, and half the Formula 1 grid is completely broke. So struggling teams sold their race seats to whoever brought the biggest suitcase of cash. Taki brought roughly $4 million. The team was called Footwork. The car was slow. Taki was, honestly, slower. He usually qualified last, which at least made him very easy to find. His stated hobby that season was trying not to get lapped. Then came Monaco. Glamour, yachts, millionaires everywhere. In practice, Taki's engine died, so a truck began towing him back to the pits. Taki sat in the car, helmet loose, enjoying the scenery. At which point, the course car arrived, at full racing speed, driven, incredibly, by a professional rally champion. It slammed into the towed car and flipped it upside down, with Taki inside. Let me repeat that. The safety car crashed into the broken-down car. Taki crawled out, dizzy, confused, but alive. Most drivers go a whole career without being hit by an official car. Taki had opened his account. Fast forward 5 months to Hungary. Mid-race, Taki's engine catches fire. Again, not his fault. Probably. He leaps out, grabs a fire extinguisher, and sprints across the track like an absolute hero, which is exactly when the medical car arrives, at speed. Yes, the car whose entire job is rescuing injured drivers ran him over and became the reason a driver got injured. Taki hurt his leg and had to watch his own car burn from the grass. Official cars too. Taki nil. And here is why the whole paddock loves this story. Taki was never bitter about any of it. He happily calls himself the worst driver in Formula 1 history. His words, not mine. And his advice to young drivers? Never trust the safety car. He spent $4 million, scored 0 points, and got flattened by 2 rescue vehicles. And somehow ended up more famous than drivers who actually won races. Because Formula 1 remembers characters, not just champions. Nobody remembers who finished 12th in 1995. Everybody remembers Taki. The unluckiest driver in history turned out to be the luckiest legend of all. Taki was hit by Formula 1. His countrymen, somehow, hit Formula 1 back. Number 3. The driver so bad they made him illegal. It is 2006, and Japan suddenly needs a second Formula 1 team. Honda had just dumped their beloved driver Takuma Sato, and Japanese fans were furious. So a retired racer named Aguri Suzuki built an entire team in 4 months to give him a seat. 4 months. Most teams take 4 years. The car? A 7-year-old chassis they found in a museum, basically. And for the second seat, they needed a driver with 2 qualities. Japanese. And available. Enter Yuji Ide. Now, Yuji was not a terrible racing driver back home in Japan, but Formula 1 is a different planet, and Yuji arrived without a map. He spoke almost no English, so he couldn't understand his own engineers, which in a 200-mile-an-hour job is a bit of a problem. In qualifying, he was seconds slower than his teammate. In the same car. Seconds. In Formula 1, half a second is a scandal. The other drivers started noticing this wobbly white car in their mirrors. And by noticing, I mean fearing. Race 4. Imola, San Marino, 2006. It is the restart. Everyone is bunched up, adrenaline everywhere. And Yuji just drives into Christian Alba's. Not a little tap. He flips him. The car barrel rolls through the gravel like a tumble dryer. Alba's walks away, furious. Yuji drives on like nothing happened. And the sport's governing body goes, right, that's enough of that. First they gave him a warning, get better, fast. 2 weeks later, they didn't wait to find out. They revoked his super license, the permit you need to drive a Formula 1 car at all. Banned. Not for cheating, not for punching anyone, for being bad. It had never happened before, and it has never happened since. 4 Grands Prix, 0 finishes above 13th. 1 Flying Dutchman. Now here's the twist. Yuji went home to Japan and became genuinely good again. He won races, he got podiums, he built a career people respect. Formula 1 wasn't too hard for him. It was too soon, in the wrong team, in a museum piece. The license ban saved his career and possibly several other drivers' necks. Being banned for talent is embarrassing. What comes next is straight-up crime. Number 2. The $100 million photocopy. In 2007, one team got caught with 780 pages of their rival's secrets. Not a sneaky photo, basically the entire car, printed out. The fine for that? $100 million. Biggest in the history of sport. It all starts with a grumpy bloke named Nigel. Nigel worked at Ferrari, a legend of the team, absolute royalty. Then he got passed over for the big promotion. And nothing on earth is more dangerous than a talented man who feels unappreciated. So Nigel decided to share Ferrari's homework with the enemy. The enemy being McLaren, Ferrari's biggest rivals on the planet. He slipped his mate at McLaren all 780 pages. Tire tricks, weight secrets, the whole recipe. Now here is where it falls apart in the dumbest way imaginable. The McLaren guy's wife takes the documents to get photocopied at a local print shop in Woking, which is literally McLaren's hometown. The clerk notices every single page says, confidential, Ferrari. And this clerk, remember, is a massive Ferrari fan. Of course he is. So he does a bit of digging, works out exactly who she's married to, and emails Ferrari to grass the whole lot of them up. A copy shop clerk just cracked the biggest case in the sport. Remember this guy. Ferrari find out. McLaren go, honestly, it was just one rogue guy. Because McLaren also had 2 drivers who absolutely could not stand each other. Fernando Alonso, the reigning champion, and a rookie called Lewis Hamilton. At one race, the team blocked the rookie to help Alonso. Everybody lost the plot. And the team boss, Ron Dennis, had a full meltdown on live television. So Alonso, absolutely fuming, plays his trump card. He tells the boss, treat me like the favorite, or I send your secrets to the sports bosses. Yeah, blackmail. Reportedly over breakfast. The verdict? McLaren fined $100 million and booted out of the championship. Every team point wiped. The drivers snitched for immunity, so they got to keep theirs. But here is the truly beautiful part. Ferrari got robbed of 780 pages and still won the title by a single point. 1. And the team that stole all the secrets finished dead last with nothing. Stealing secrets cost a fortune, but at least nobody got hurt. That changes now. Number 1. The team that ordered a driver to crash on purpose.
Singapore, 2008. Formula 1's first ever night race. Renault were having a miserable season. Their star, Fernando Alonso, a 2-time world champion, was stuck near the back. They needed a miracle, so they decided to build one. To get this, you need to understand the safety car. When someone crashes, a slow car leads everyone around while it's cleaned up. Everyone bunches together, and it becomes the perfect moment to dive into the pits. So Renault's plan was to pit Alonso ridiculously early, before anyone else. On its own, that's a terrible idea. He'd just drop to dead last. Unless something brought the safety car out at the exact right second. Something like a crash. A very convenient, very well-timed crash. Enter Nelson Piquet Jr., Renault's second driver. Younger, slower, and desperate to keep his seat. The team allegedly told him exactly where to crash. A corner with no crane nearby, so the cleanup would take forever and guarantee the safety car. On lap 14, Piquet planted it into the wall. On purpose, at over 100 miles an hour. Out came the safety car, right on cue. And suddenly, Alonso's weird early pit stop looked like pure genius. Everyone else had to pit late and lost all their track position. Alonso cruised through the chaos and won the race from absolutely nowhere. A heroic, brilliant, completely fake victory. For a whole year, they got away with it. Then Renault dropped Piquet Jr. Big mistake, because Piquet knew everything. He told the authorities the crash had been ordered. The entire paddock exploded. The team boss, Flavio Briatore, was thrown out of the sport. The engineering chief got a 5-year ban. Renault technically kept the win, but their reputation was toast. Alonso was cleared. He wasn't in on it. Here's the part that should genuinely bother you. A car was crashed on purpose, at speed, near marshals and fans. All for a trophy. People could have been hurt for a result. Most cheating in racing is clever. This one was just dark.
5 stories. Billions of dollars. 1 license revoked, 2 cars stolen, and a man run over by his own rescuers. Twice. And the maddest part? Formula 1 does something like this every single decade. We cover a new disaster every week, so subscribe if you want the next one. And I'll catch you in the next one.